There has been a trend for temporary employment services, TES, to disguise themselves as some other kind of service provider, like an independent contractor, to avoid the deeming provision of Section 198A3B of the Labor Relations Act. The Labor Appeal Court unmasked one such TES in this case. Section 198A3B of the Labor Relations Act provides that an employee earning below R205,433.33 per annum who works for the client of a TES for more than 3 months is deemed to be the client's employee. The employment relationship does not come about through negotiation between the parties or the normal recruitment process used by the client. It comes into being automatically through the operation of law. In this case, CHEP was the client and C-Force was the service provider. C-Force supplied labor to CHEP. The contract between CHEP and C-Force provided that C-Force was an independent contractor. The case was brought by employees who had initially been employed by C-Force to refurbish pallets for CHEP. They were earning below R205,433.30 per annum and had been working at CHEP for over 3 months. They wanted to be deemed to be employees of CHEP in terms of Section 198A3B of the Labor Relations Act. CHEP and C-Force argued that the deeming provision did not apply in this case because the relationship between them was not that of a TES, but that of an independent contractor. The Labour Court of Appeal noted the factors relevant to identifying a TES as being the nature of the service agreement between the client and the service provider, the degree of control exercised over the service provider by the client, and the degree to which the service provider's employees are integrated into the client's workplace. In the case before it, the Labour Court of Appeal conducted an exhaustive factual survey of the working arrangements between CHEP, C-Force, and the employees in question to find out what the true nature of the relationship was. The Labour Court of Appeal did not simply accept that because the contract stated that C-Force was an independent contractor. It really was one. In the end, the Labour Court of Appeal concluded that the true nature of the relationship between CHEP and C-Force was that of a TES and client. Consequently, the deeming provision came into play and the employees automatically became the employees of CHEP. They were therefore entitled to be employed in the same terms and conditions of employment as CHEP's other staff. These are the factors that were indicative of the status of C-Force as a TES. The fact that CHEP supplied the materials and equipment needed to perform the work, that CHEP decided on how the work must be performed in accordance with its policies and rules, that CHEP exercised overall control of the employees, set production targets, and provided detailed work rules, and finally, that CHEP had the right to suspend an employee for suspected misconduct and the right to exercise a disciplinary rule over the employees. All these factors supported the Labour Court of Appeal's decision that CHEP was a TES and not an independent contractor, as had been claimed.